100 Hell's Angels roared into a quiet neighborhood to save a terrified 12-year-old boy. This is a story that will change everything you think you know about bikers. Before we proceed, please subscribe. Sarah Reynolds was losing her son. Her 12-year-old Kevin had completely changed after his father died of a heart attack at just 41 years old. The boy who once talked to nonstop about dinosaurs in space had become a ghost in their home. But grief was only the beginning. Kevin started having terrible nightmares that made him scream in his sleep. Then he refused to go to swim practice, which he used to love more than anything. Sarah noticed dark circles forming under his eyes, and found him hiding in his closet at 3 o'clock in the morning. The mother begged her son, "Please, Kevin, tell me what's wrong with you." Kevin whispered back, "It's nothing, Mom." But mothers always know when something is terribly wrong with their children. What Sarah discovered next made her blood run cold. She found threatening messages on Kevin's phone from his former swim coach. This was the same man who had been quietly fired from the school, but still lived just 10 minutes away in a blue house on Maple Street. He kept showing up wherever Kevin went, always watching and smiling, making sure the terrified boy knew he was being followed. Sarah went to the police. They said there wasn't enough evidence to do anything. The system that was supposed to protect children had completely failed her son. At 2 o'clock in the morning, desperate and alone, Sarah typed a message on Facebook that would change their lives forever. "I need help for my son. The system has failed him. I don't know where else to turn." She never imagined who would answer. Saturday morning arrived like any other until the first motorcycle rumbled down their quiet street at exactly 9:17. The sound was so loud that Sarah spilled coffee all over her kitchen counter. One bike quickly became two became 10. Within 5 minutes, their suburban street was packed with gleaming Harleys. Kevin ran to his mother with wide, frightened eyes. "Mom, what's happening?" Sarah had no answer. Men and women in leather vests were gathering on their front lawn like an army preparing for battle. Most wore patches she recognized from news stories about the Hells Angels. A giant man with a silver beard climbed off his black Harley and walked toward their porch. His leather vest was covered in patches that marked him as someone important in the motorcycle club. Behind him, more bikes kept arriving. The doorbell rang. Sarah's hand shook as she opened the door while keeping Kevin close beside her. The bearded giant spoke in a surprisingly gentle voice. "Mrs. Reynolds, I'm Diesel, president of the North Valley chapter. How do you know my name?" Sarah managed to ask. "Your post about your boy traveled fast. People who care about kids. We pay attention to these things." Behind him stood at least 50 bikers and more were still arriving. The rumble of engines filled the entire neighborhood. Sarah's voice trembled. "What exactly is happening here?" Diesel explained calmly. "We're here to help your son, ma'am. Everything we do today will be completely legal. Just a show of support for a kid who needs it." He slowly pulled out a business card. David Kowalski, construction foreman at a company Sarah recognized. Then Diesel said something that sent chills down Sarah's spine. "The man bothering your son is a former swim coach who lives in the blue house on Maple Street." "Right. How could you possibly know that?" Sarah gasped. "Our community has eyes and ears everywhere. People talk to us and we listen very carefully when kids are in danger." Diesel looked down at Kevin with kind eyes. "Hey there, young man. Nobody's going to hurt you today or any other day if we have anything to say about it." Kevin stared up at the giant biker. He wasn't hiding behind his mother anymore. A police car rolled slowly down the street. The officer inside nodded at Diesel, who nodded back. This confused Sarah completely. "Officer Chen knows why we're here," Diesel explained. "His daughter was in your son's swim class last year." The terrible truth hit Sarah like a punch. There were other victims, other scared parents, but still not enough evidence for police to act. "We're planning a ride through town," Diesel said. "Past the school, past the pool, and past certain other locations." He didn't need to mention the blue house on Maple Street. Everyone understood. Sarah asked the question burning in her mind. "Why would you do this for us when you don't even know us?" Pain flashed across Diesel's weathered face. "Some of us know exactly what it feels like to be a scared kid with nobody standing up for you." Those simple words carried the weight of old wounds. A woman biker approached with a small package. Inside was a child-sized leather vest with a single patch that read protected. Honorary membership, Diesel explained to Kevin. This means you've got friends now. Lots and lots of friends. The woman smiled warmly at Kevin. We brought a bike with a side-deck car if your mom says it's okay for you to ride with us. For the first time in months, Sarah saw something besides fear in her son's eyes. What happened next was the most incredible procession their town had ever witnessed. Over 100 motorcycles formed a parade through the main streets while police officers cleared traffic for them. Kevin rode in the side-deck car next to Diesel wearing his new vest and a helmet that matched the press streaming down her face. They passed the middle school where teachers came outside to watch in amazement. They passed the community pool where parents raised their fists in support. They passed the courthouse where Judge stood on the steps watching and slowly nodding his head. And yes, they definitely passed the blue house on Maple Street. The message was crystal clear to everyone watching. This boy was under protection. Now, the parade ended at a park where someone had set up a huge cookout. Kids from Kevin's school showed up with their parents. They were scared at first, but soon realized these tough-looking bikers were just people who cared about protecting children. Kevin sat at a picnic table surrounded by friends for the first time in months. Diesel found Sarah watching her son actually smile. Thank you, she said. I still don't understand why you're doing this. Diesel watched the children playing. My little sister was 15 when her swim coach started making her uncomfortable, telling her she had special potential if she stayed after practice alone with him. His hands clenched into fists. She told our parents. They told the school and the school said they'd look into it. She quit swimming and had nightmares for years. He looked at Kevin laughing with other kids. That was 30 years ago and she still has problems. Trust in people. Some things you can't fix in the past, so you fix them going forward instead. Your husband served in the army, right? Diesel asked suddenly. Sarah was surprised. 2 tours in Afghanistan, but how did you know that? Half our chapter members are veterans, ma'am. He pointed to several bikers wearing military patches alongside their Hells Angels colors. Your husband would have protected his son if he was here, so we're just standing in his place. Monday morning brought justice. Detective Salazar looked at the evidence with fresh eyes while 20 bikers sat quietly in the police station waiting room. 3 more families came forward with their own stories about the coach. The blue house on Maple Street was searched that afternoon. Police found enough evidence to arrest the former coach while 20 motorcycles just happened to be parked across the street. 3 weeks later, Kevin returned to swimming with a new coach who had Olympic medals. 6 of his teammates came back, too. The nightmares didn't stop right away because healing takes time. But they got better little by little. Every Saturday, a few motorcycles would cruise past their house just checking in. One night, Kevin asked his mother, "Do you think Dad would have liked Diesel and his friends?" Sarah thought carefully before answering. Your father believed in protecting people who couldn't protect themselves, so yes, he would have respected them. 6 months later, the former coach accepted a plea deal in court. He would never work with children again. Outside the courthouse, leather-clad guardians waited on their bikes. They had kept their promise to see this through to the end. Kevin ran to Diesel, who knelt down to receive the boy's hug. The tough biker's face softened in a way that would surprise anyone who only saw his appearance. That evening, Sarah understood something important. The scariest-looking people sometimes have the biggest hearts. When her son needed saving, heroes arrived wearing leather and riding Harleys. Sometimes help comes from places you never expect. And sometimes 100 Hells Angels are exactly what a scared boy needs to smile.